I don't want to be around her right now. I start texting back. We can talk about what happened another time. I want some time to myself after all this. Natsuki responds after a few minutes.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry for how I acted. I shouldn't have said that to Sayori, and I'm sorry I acted like a total bitch. I just wanted to say that in person, so you know what that I meant it.
I appreciate it. I put my phone down and lay back on my bed. Hopefully everything will have calmed down by tomorrow. Heck, I still don't know if I even want to go back to the club tomorrow. But given it's the last day we'll meet before the photo shoot, it's probably best I get working on laminating the poems for Monica. I'd hate to make the situation even worse. I'll walk over to my desk, pull the poems out from one of the drawers, and begin organizing them for laminating. I crash onto my bed and sing, yeah. Even though it wasn't exactly the most time-consuming process, I definitely dragged it out by rereading Natsuki's poems at least 100 times. My heart would sink every time I'd finish one of her poems, knowing how happy I made her and how I put all that into jeopardy. How can I possibly come to forgive myself now? I know she's not going to forgive me easily. I should have taken her up on her offer to talk things through. I doubt she or anyone else at the club will want to be around me now. I probably look like a coward. Is it even worth showing up to the club tomorrow? This happened because of me. I have a responsibility to at least try to fix this. If I make things worse, I'll never show my face there again. But if I can set things right between Natsuki and I, and restore at least basic civility to the club, I'll take that as a win. Regardless of how everything plays out tomorrow, it's certainly going to be stressful. It's best to try not to think about it too much and just save up my energy. Hopefully there's no more stupid nightmares, too. With my prayer complete, I finally drift off to sleep.
I can't feel now. You did well by avoiding Natsuki today. The less time you spend around her, the better. We're so close to being together.
Natsuki. I probably ruined everything with her by saying yes to Yuri's confession, but maybe there's a way to explain things. It's not going to be easy to explain, and I doubt she's going to believe me. Same for Yuri. I don't know how I'm going to face Natsuki. I really should have talked things through with her yesterday. She probably thinks I either hate her or I'm pinning all this on her. On the other hand, maybe she's cooled off. I know I can't run from her forever. Maybe I'll get to talk to her before the club today. There's definitely a lot to talk about. And I need to talk to Sayori, too. Well, she should be waiting outside for me. As soon as I walk out the front door, I already spot Sayori waiting for me on the sidewalk. Hey, Sayori.
Hello, Hallie.
Sayori's voice drifts off into a whisper as she anxiously stares in the direction of school. She's probably barely able to stomach being in my presence. I need to apologize. Sayori, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for causing all this drama and leaving you in the dark about everything. I know you probably don't believe a word coming out of my mouth, and that's fine. I don't deserve your forgiveness. But just know that I feel bad that this has all happened, and I wish it didn't come to this. Sayori lets out a couple of sniffs before gazing back in the direction of the school. After a moment, Sayori sighs and turns back to me, her eyes filled with disappointment.
Instead of saying it, Hallie, just act on it. I'm tired of you telling me one thing and doing the total opposite. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I thought I was your friend. If you want to go to Natsuki, fine. I'll learn to deal with it. So whatever you decide, just get it over with.
I will. Sayori nervously looks off again in the direction of the school, though I can tell she's not just thinking about the club meeting today. What's wrong? Sayori nervously laughs. Well, that's not exactly an optimistic laugh.
Hallie, I've been thinking about something else.
Yeah?
Call it a long shot, but I think it might help to heal the club if everyone from this point on was honest with each other.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I think everybody needs to understand each other, whoever really like outside of school and the club. So, I'm thinking about telling everyone about my depression.
Sayori's voice trails off. I'm not sure if she's really up to this. Are you sure, Sayori?
Well, it's either that or things are just going to keep happening again and again. And as vice president, I need to do everything that I can to ensure that it doesn't.
I 100% agree with you, Sayori. I'll be right there to support you. You can count on it. Sayori glances at me with uncertainty before letting out another sigh and beginning our walk to school. The entire walk was uncomfortably silent. From our houses to school to even when we were navigating the school's hallways, Sayori didn't utter a word to me once. In retrospect, she probably didn't want me to say anything. I probably would have just found a way to make it worse. She's my best friend. How could have I been so stupid to treat so terribly when her mental state is on the brink? After today, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if Sayori and I end up splitting after this is all resolved. She hasn't exactly been giving me encouraging signs either. Well, whatever happens, I need to face the consequences. Whatever happens, I deserve it. but hopefully I can avoid a worst-case scenario. As we're walking to Sayori's class, the hallways have become increasingly crowded as students make their way to their first class. But even that feels off. Hardly anybody's talking to each other, and aside from the occasional sound of somebody opening or closing their locker or walking past us, there's hardly an audible sound throughout the hallway. After several minutes of increasingly uncomfortable silence, we finally reach Sayori's classroom. Sayori and I just simply stare at each other, unsure of what's the best thing to say to break this ice without breaking each other further. I let out a sigh and try to say the most diplomatic thing that comes to mind. I'll see you later at the club, okay? We'll get through this together.
Alright, Hallie. I'll see you then.
Without even looking at me once, Sayori silently walks into her classroom. Looks like it's going to be worst-case scenario after all. I quietly curse to myself before walking off in the direction of my classroom. I see a flash of pink before it retreats from my sight. It's alright, Natsuki, come in. I try to sound as inviting as possible, but I probably ended up coming across as awkward. Still, she seems to have accepted the invite. Natsuki slowly opens the rest of the door and steps into the clubroom. We struggle to make eye contact with one another, let alone speak to each other.
Hello, Hallie.
Hey, Natsuki. Natsuki carefully sets her stuff down, but she doesn't sit. Instead, she turns around to face me. Her eyes struggle to meet mine. It takes a few moments before she finally finds her voice.
So, you ready for this?
No, I can't say I honestly am.
Well, good. Me neither. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around this. I just never thought the club would be brought to this point.
If you told me a week ago that things would be the way they are now, I would have called you crazy.
Even if you did believe me, you still would have called me crazy.
Maybe. Natsuki crosses her arms and nervously glances at the floor. What's wrong? Natsuki sighs.
There's no point in hiding this since you already know. But I've been thinking.
Yes?
I think everyone needs to be on the same page with each other. So no one makes the same mistakes again with what happened yesterday.
Where are you going with this?
I think it's time I told everyone about my home situation.
My heart nearly stops at the news. Is she serious? You're sure you want to do that? Natsuki simply nods. Well, if you think it's the time for it, it's the time for it.
It is. I just don't know if I'm ready to say it. It's not like I rehearsed anything.
I mean, I'll help set things up for you, but just tell them what you told me.
It's not the same.
Also, she didn't tell us anything. I guess this is because we didn't take that date earlier?
I actually trust. Well, trusted.
Natsuki's voice breaks as she tightly clenches her fists. Natsuki?
Don't. If you love Yuri, fine. Be with her. It's just nice to know that I wasted my time on another stupid boy.
Natsuki, look, I messed up. You have every right to be angry at me. I don't know why I said yes to her. But I felt that if I said no, I would have hurt her.
And what about me, Hallie? Did you think about how I would feel?
I did. I was put in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, right. So why tell me this now? Why didn't you tell me yesterday?
I was just as angry as you. I needed to cool off. We all did. But I see that I made another mistake.
That's all you do.
I sigh. Look, when we all sit down and talk about what happened, will you just at least listen with an open mind? Natsuki stares at the floor for a few moments before responding to me.
Fine, but you better have one hell of an excuse.
I'm done offering excuses.
I guess we'll see.
Natsuki finally sits down.
I just hope that Yuri...
Before Natsuki could finish her sentence, the door opens and Yuri enters the room. She looks to Natsuki, who quickly averts her eyes away from Yuri. Yuri's eyes then lock onto mine as I continue my icy stare. She tries to say something, but she quickly catches herself and takes a seat on the far side of the room away from us. I quietly sigh to myself. I am not looking forward to talking to her. Alright. Oh, Sayori and I briefly lock eyes before she turns away to face Monica. I wish we could have talked sooner, but there's no turning back now. Oh, sure there is. Look, the truth is, I have feelings for Natsuki. I've been spending quite a bit of time around her recently, and, well, I like her. One by one, the girls shoot either an irritated or dejected look at me, but Natsuki only smiles as she holds back tears. I really don't think that there is anything that's going to change that. I want to be in a relationship with her, not to spite any of you. My voice starts to break. But, because I've come to realize lately, she needs me. I turn to Natsuki, signaling to her that it's her turn to speak.
Right.
Natsuki promptly stands up. She shakily breathes in and out, tears welling in her eyes.
Everyone, the thing is...
Natsuki looks at Monica, then to me, Sayori, and finally to Yuri. Monica manages an uneasy grin as Sayori and Yuri continue to look on at Natsuki. I didn't realize how hard this would be for Natsuki to come out about her home life. Maybe we should have had a dry run. I give Natsuki an encouraging nod. Come on, Natsuki, you can do this.
I can't do this!
Natsuki bolts out from her seat and rushes out the door past Monica, loudly sobbing. Crap. I quickly turn to Monica. Monica's grin quickly evaporates. Let me go after her, please. Monica sighs.
Go for it.
Monica says irritably. What the hell is up with her? Oh well, I'll deal with it later. Just as I'm about to run after Natsuki, I feel someone grip on my arm. It's Yuri.
Wait.
I brush Yuri's arm off of mine and turn to directly face her.
How do I put this?
What are you talking about?
I'm...
Yuri breaks eye contact as her face flushes bright red, shutting her eyes in an effort to fight back tears. It ultimately proves futile as tears start running down Yuri's cheeks. She finally lets it all out.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I tried to ruin your relationship with Natsuki. I'm sorry for saying all these horrible things about her. I'm sorry for hitting you. I never meant to harm you. I'm sorry for everything.
I stop for a minute, taking in what Yuri had just said as she stands in front of me on the verge of a total breakdown. Yuri!
Yes?
Her voice squeaks. I'm not the one you need to apologize to right now. Yuri breaks down into a hysterical sob. Before she's able to properly speak again, I'm already out the door. Just as they exit the room, I hear her cry out to me.
Ellie, wait. I should...
The door shuts behind me. I'll deal with her later. I gotta find Natsuki. Natsuki! Natsuki! Where are you, dummy? Damn it, where could she be? I wander up and down the halls aimlessly, looking for any sign of her. Eventually, I stumble upon an open door to one of the classrooms. I can hear someone sniffling and sobbing in there. Yep, that has to be her. I quietly enter the room, gently closing the door behind me. As soon as I get in, I see Natsuki curled up in the corner. I carefully approach and quietly call out her name. Natsuki? Natsuki slowly looks up to face me.
Go away, Ellie. I don't want you to see me like this.
I kneel down next to Natsuki. Why not? Natsuki stares at me with her glossy eyes. Why don't you want me to see you like this?
Because I said so! Because I'm weak and pathetic! I barely own up to anything! I'm not strong enough to do this, Hallie! There's nothing you can do to help me!
That's where you're wrong, Natsuki.
How?
Natsuki's voice shakes uncontrollably as tears continue to stream down her face and fall onto the floor.
I'm emotionally unstable! My only real talent is pissing people off who care about me the most! Why do you care so much about me? If you never talked to me, none of this would be happening right now!
That's not true.
It is! And I care so much about you and it hurts! It really hurts, Hallie! I haven't felt loved by anyone in years! It took everything I had to open up to you about my real life. That didn't happen. They'll never give me the same chance you did. Why is it whenever I love someone, I'm the one that always gets hurt? It's not fair. And that's not the worst part. My dad, he insults me in every way imaginable. He even hits me. And anytime I fight back, it gets worse. No matter what I do, I just can't win.
Natsuki breaks down again and resumes her sobbing. I take in a moment to absorb what Natsuki just said. I can't ignore something like this. It doesn't help that she's being hysterical, but I'm not sure if it's possible to reason with her right now. I don't want to leave Natsuki unattended, but maybe she needs some moment to calm herself down. But isn't it my job to be there for her in her time of need? I should reload that save so we can see the other outcome. Yeah, I'll load it. Should I let Natsuki go? Right, sure. I should work things out with Natsuki. I start texting back. Yeah, phone. It's out of range. No. Phone. Shut up. Shut up. Okay. It's 8 o'clock. Yeah, if you want, you can come over to my place. Natsuki quickly replies back.
Alright, I'm going there now. I'll be there in a few minutes.
Man, what am I even going to say to her? This day has been a complete catastrophe. I don't even know what I'm going to say to Natsuki, let alone know what she's going to say to me. Maybe she just wants to apologize for what she said earlier. I mean, I haven't known her to be a nasty person, but today all my expectations went out the window. I can't believe anyone would have said that to someone as kind as Sayori. It's enough to make my blood boil. Maybe clearing up the living room for Natsuki's arrival would be a better use of my time. I can get angry at her later. I get off of my bed and head downstairs to start cleaning up the living room. Just as I'm about to finish cleaning the living room, I hear the doorbell ring. Coming. I take a deep breath before walking over and opening the door. As expected, I find Natsuki waiting on my porch. She looks up at me through a guilty and pained expression. I simply sigh and wordlessly invite her in. After closing the door behind us, I lead Natsuki to the living room. We both take our seats on the couch, unable to make consistent eye contact with one another. I bow my head as I try to figure out something to break the tension. I'm not even sure where to begin. There's absolutely no excuse for what she said. Even if she doesn't know about Sayori's depression, it's just one of the things you don't just say to people. But I think I at least owe Natsuki a chance to explain herself. We wait for several minutes in painfully awkward silence before she speaks up.
I messed up.
Clearly you did.
I know you're angry with me. And you have every right to be. And I'm sure she's pissed at me too. Hell, I completely understand if you guys never want to talk to me again. Just everything about this day has me just sucked.
Well, you're not wrong there. But how could you even say that to Sayori? Look, in the time I've known you, I've gotten to understand that you're a passionate and direct person, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I like people who are upfront. I know you and Yuri can get a little heated, but this goes beyond anything I've ever seen from you. So I guess I just want to know why you acted out. Natsuki lets out a shaky sigh.
I let my emotions get the better of me again. After I tried to calm down Yuri, she clearly wasn't having it, and so we got into a big fight over it. It got hurtful for us pretty quick. We said a bunch of things to each other that I'm not going to ever repeat. And I guess along the way, something inside me snapped. I was done being talked down to. I was done being pushed around. I dealt with enough at home, and I'm not going to suffer through it in school too. So I lashed out at everyone. I had so much pent-up anger over my life that I just exploded. I really didn't mean to hurt anyone. I know I can't take back what I said, but I just wanted to let you know just how sorry I am for everything. Nothing can explain the immense pain and guilt I feel right now. And now that you and Yuri are a thing, it just hurts. After everything we've been through, it hurts to know that I wasn't good enough for you. And how I acted earlier only proves that. I'm sorry.
Natsuki starts sobbing as I sit frozen in shock. I know Natsuki's had it bad outside of school, and while there's certainly no way she can undo the hurt she's caused Sayori, I'm glad to at least hear from her that she knows she's in the wrong. But I have to come to terms that I'm a pretty big reason she blew up in the first place. I helped make her lash out. I hand Natsuki my tissue box. She gently plucks a tissue from the box and uses it to wipe her tears away.
So thanks, Hallie.
Yeah, no problem. We sit for the next few moments in silence. I wait for Natsuki to collect herself before I say anything. I think I owe you an apology as well, Natsuki. I messed up too, and I see now that I'm a pretty big reason this all happened. So I shouldn't be as mad as I am at you. This really is all my fault. I led you on and I hurt you.
You did. I thought that after everything we've been through that you might have liked me more than just as friends. Even though we haven't been talking for very long, I thought I was able to tell you that you really weren't like most boys. And actually took me seriously. You were kind, funny. A bit of a mediocre taste in manga. But you actually cared about how I felt and what I was going through. I thought you weren't going to try to blame me because I looked like any easy girl again or something. But maybe I was wrong again.
I bow my head in guilt as Natsuki finishes her speech. It's hard to come to terms with how much my mistake hurt her. I never meant to drive her or anyone to this point. But we're both in the wrong and we should fix things now before it gets worse. I finally muster up the willpower to speak up again. I'm sorry, Natsuki. It was never my intention to hurt you or anyone else. Truthfully, my emotions are all over the place right now, too. I know it's not an excuse for what I did to you, but I'm in just as much turmoil over this as you are.
Are you and Yuri together now?
I don't know. I didn't really expect everything to hit the fan at once. So, right now, I just want to make sure that there's no more misunderstandings between us.
I get what you mean. I'll talk to Sayori tomorrow when I get the chance. How is she?
I haven't had the time or chance to check up on her yet, but I'll text her later.
Okay. Well, I'll try to forgive you for what happened earlier. I just can't deal with it right this second.
I understand. We sit for the next few minutes in silence before Natsuki speaks up again.
Do you think the club's ever going to be the same?
I don't know. Hopefully we can all put aside our differences in time for Monday at least. But after that, who knows?
I don't want the club to disband, Hallie. It's really the only place I can call home.
I know. I'd hate to see the club break apart, too. I have no idea what's going to happen with Monica and Yuri. There's no telling if there'll ever even be a meeting tomorrow.
Sayori would try to come, wouldn't she?
Knowing her, probably. She's not one to hold on to grudges. But hopefully we can all apologize to each other and go back to being friends.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you let me come over to hear me out.
I suppose it's the least we could do. I trust that you'll stay to your word and work things out with Sayori at least.
Well, I think I owe everyone an apology at this point.
I do too. We both let out an awkward chuckle before the room returns to silence. At least Natsuki and I smoothed things over for the most part. Let's just hope it goes just as well for tomorrow.
So I guess I'll see you tomorrow at the club then.
I'll be there. Just let me know if you see Monica or Yuri around.
I will. And let me know how Sayori's doing.
I'll be sure to.
Well, I'll get going now. If I stay any longer, I'll miss the bus.
It's alright. Thank you for everything, Natsuki. I just hope in the next few days that we can get back to being friends again.
Me too. Later, Hallie.
See you tomorrow. I lead Natsuki out the door and gently close it behind her. I watch out the window as Natsuki walks off to the horizon in the direction of the nearest bus stop. That wasn't too bad, I mumble to myself. I'm still a little surprised Natsuki went out of her way to directly apologize to me. Even though she was awful during that fight, I'm glad that she recognized her mistakes. It's going to take time for Natsuki and I to move past what happened, but maybe we can get back to where we were soon. I just hope everything goes smoothly tomorrow.